Hello, this is Hindu Response and thanks for joining me. Today's topic is about 5 things pastors don't tell to Christians in India. By the way, please comment how many of these things you know beforehand or told by your pastors in the comment section. And if you guys like my content, please like, share and subscribe. Before going to start, I would like to clarify you that my intention is not to prove Christianity is wrong, but to educate Christians and Hindus on the reality of Christianity. That being said, let us look those 5 topics which I am going to explain today. Birthday of Jesus, Virgin birth, chronological order of books, interpolations, contradictions. Let us first look at birthday of Jesus. Most of the Christians celebrate birthday of Jesus on the December 25th cause that's what their pastors said to them. But in reality, no one knows the exact date of Jesus' birth. Until mid-2nd century, no one celebrated Jesus' birthday cause celebrating birthdays were treated as pagan beliefs. The word pagan means one who doesn't follow the rules of Bible, and the biggest supporter against celebrating birthday of Jesus was Origen of Alexandria, who was considered as the greatest Christian teacher Christianity ever produced. No one actually knows when was Jesus born to a point around 200 CE. Clement of Alexandria, who was another important person in Christianity, wrote, "There are those who have determined not only the year of our Lord's birth, but also the day. And they say that it took place in the 28th year of Augustus and in 25th day of the Egyptian month Pancon, May 20. Further, others say that he was born on 24th or 25th of Paramuti, April 20 or 21. However, by 3rd century, Christians started to celebrate a Roman pagan festival of Saturn or sun god as Christmas, which is December 25th in the West. At the same time, January 6th is celebrated as Jesus' birthday in the East, calling Jesus as Son God of Righteousness. One of my subscribers called Ravan Brahma has sent me an article which clearly shows how early Christians connected Jesus with Son, even though it is against Bible. The link is in my description. Please read it. Most people who know the truth that they don't know Jesus Christ's birth and they are just copying other festivals into Christmas like Christmas tree, Santa Claus, didn't celebrate his birthday at all. And it can be supported by the statement of Pope Gregory the Great, who in a letter written in 601 CE to a Christian missionary in Britain recommended that local pagan temples not to be destroyed but be converted into churches and the pagan festivals be celebrated as feasts of Christian martyrs. And even some kings banned celebrating it, but from 16th century most of them started to celebrate it. However, there are still some denominations who celebrate Christmas on January 6th or 7th, such as Oriental Orthodox or Eastern Orthodox churches. Virgin birth. Jesus Christ is born from a virgin. This is a common thing said by all preachers around the world, but in India, preachers brainwash Christians, making this statement as a characteristic difference between Hindu gods and Jesus Christ. But the truth is, Jesus isn't born to a virgin. The myth of Jesus born to a virgin was believed and circulated by Christian missionaries is when the Isaiah 7:14, which says, "The Lord himself will give you a sign. Behold, the young woman shall conceive and give birth to a son, and she shall call his name Emmanuel," is translated as, "Behold, the Lord himself will give you a sign. A virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and she shall call his name Emmanuel." If you look over the original Hebrew word, it says Ha-al-ma, means the young woman, but it was translated as by Christians into a virgin. The specific Hebrew word virgin is Betulha, not Alma. Most scholars agree that it's a mistranslation, and yet Christian missionaries and pastors fool people saying Jesus was born to a virgin. And another biggest lie is that calling Isaiah 7:14 to be the prophecy for Jesus' birth, talking about Mary. But in reality, it isn't a prophecy about Mary, who was born 700 years after Isaiah, but about the specific woman who is present when Isaiah was alive. In order to convince and to convert people, the Hebrew word ha, which means there, is translated as a. in order to make it look like Prophet Isaiah talking about a woman who is going to born in future. According to scholars, Prophet Isaiah is talking about the young woman who might be less than 8 years old, or some people even say she is less than 6, and Jewish scholars even say Prophet Isaiah married that woman. In my description, I have given various videos done by scholars in Christianity and in Judaism talking about this myth, or you can read the article written in Jews for Judaism, an international organization which works to expose Christian missionaries' lies and clearly debunk the Jesus Virgin myth. The third topic is chronological order of books. Being the world's largest religion and yet still Christianity failed to convert Jews. Your pastor might have gave you a reason to it, but the original truth is present in the arrangement of Bible. Most scholars say that Jews follow the Old Testament of Christian Bible, but reality is that they don't follow Old Testament. Jews follow Hebrew Bible or Tanakh, which has total 24 books, while Christians' Old Testament is called Greek Bible. You can see the difference between Old Testament and Hebrew Bible in this image. Now, here comes the question, why does they differ in arrangement? The answer is simple. Christians arranged it in such a way that a non-Jew who does not know anything about Jewish scriptures or Jewish history will blindly believe and get convinced that Jesus is the Messiah. Is the reason why most of the converts to Christianity are non-Jews. And as I previously pointed out in the virgin birth topic, there are lots of translation mistakes in Christian Old Testament which is written in Koine Greek. Christian preachers not only change the Old Testament order but even the New Testament chronology too. If you look into the Bible, the order goes on like this. 4 canonical Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke and John. The Acts of Apostles, 14 epistles of Paul, 8 general epistles and the book of Revelation. But reality, that isn't the original order at all. The chronological order is Paul letters, Mark Gospel, Matthew, Luke and Acts, Revelation, Gospel of John, other epistles. You guys can see the timeline of these writings in this chart, and what's more puzzling is that Gospels are not eyewitness accounts. 95% of scholars agree that Mark didn't write the Gospel of Mark, John didn't write the Gospel of John, and etc. Some people wrote these Gospels, and in 2nd to 3rd century, Christian leaders named them as Gospel of Mark, Gospel of Luke, etc. I will make another video about this soon. Now, going into the fourth topic, that is interpolation. Christians often accuse Hindus when they say there are interpolations in our scriptures. For example, in Ramayana, Uttarakhand is interpolation made by unknown person by reading the Ramayana from Padma Puran. Christians in India often claim that their Bible is free from such interpolation, but in reality there are interpolations in it too, which preachers hides from you. 7 out of Paul letters are interpolations. Those are Ephesians, Colossians, 2 Theologians, 1 Timothy, 2 Timothy, Titus. Not only these letters, even other epistles like 1 Peter, 2 Peter, 1 John, 2 John, 3 John, letter of Jude, James epistles. Origen in his book Homilies written in 2nd century stated that there are some Christian preachers who in order to convert people have created fake letters and gospels. In his research, he found that 2 Peter, 2 John, 3 John and some other letters as fake, but still in 3rd century they were added into the Bible. Not only the letters, even some verses in Gospel are interpolation. For example, the famous scene in Gospel of John 7:53, 8:11, that is, woman caught in adultery, is an interpolation. This story is not present in earliest Gospel of John. This story is from a Gospel called Gospel of Hebrew, which is considered as secret Gospel that was lost. But in somewhere around 5th century, an unknown person added it into the Gospel of John to prove Jesus as God who came to change the laws. Most scholars say that one of the reasons why Gospel of Hebrews was not added in the Bible because it is against other canon Gospels. Finally, we are now in the section of contradictions. A contradiction is a statement which isn't true. For example, look at these two statements. Statement 1. A person called Raju woke up at 8 a.m. and went to his friend's house at 10 a.m. and studied until evening. Statement 2. A person called Raju woke up at 8 a.m. and went to his relative's house at 10 p.m. and enjoyed there until evening. Here you see the contradictions. One statement says he went to friend's house to study, while another statement says he went to relative's house to enjoy. Now, I think you guys understood what is a contradiction. There are hundreds of contradictions in Bible. Just look at this example from Bible. Mark 14, 1-9. Now the Passover and the festival of unleavened bread were only 2 days away, and the chief priests and the teachers of the law were scheming to arrest Jesus secretly and kill him. But not during the festival, they said, or the people may riot. While he was in Bethany, reclining at the table in the home of Simon the leper, a woman came with an alabaster jar of very expensive perfume made of pure nard. She broke the jar and poured the perfume on his head. Some of those present were saying indignantly to one another, "Why this waste of perfume? It could have been sold for more than a year's wages, and the money given to the poor." And they rebuked her harshly. "Leave her alone," said Jesus. "Why are you bothering her? She has done a beautiful thing to me. The poor you will always have with you, and you can help them anytime you want, but you will not always have me. She did what she could. She poured perfume on my body beforehand to prepare for my burial. Truly I tell you, wherever the gospel is preached throughout the world, what she has done will also be told in memory of her." In Gospel of John 12, 1-9, 6 days before the Passover, Jesus came to Bethany, where Lazarus lived, whom Jesus has raised from the dead. Here a dinner was given in Jesus' honor. Martha served, while Lazarus was among those reclining at the table with him. Then Mary took about a pint of pure nard, an expensive perfume. She poured it on Jesus' feet and wiped his feet with her hair, and the house was filled with fragrance of the perfume. But one of his disciples, Judas Iscariot, who was later to betray him, objected. "Why wasn't this perfume sold and the money given to the poor? It was worth a year's wages." He did not say this because he cared about the poor, but because he was a thief. As keeper of the money bag, he used to help himself what he was put into. "Leave her alone," Jesus replied. "It was intended that she should save this perfume for the day of my burial. You will always have the poor among you, but you will not always have me." Look at these both statements. Gospel of Mark was written in 70 CE, while Gospel of John was written in 110 CE. There is total 40 years time gap between them. Look at this table. Gospel, Mark, John. Place, Bethany, Bethany. Days, 2 days, 6 days. House, Simon, Lazarus. Woman, unknown, Mary. Body part, head, feet. Disciples, few, one. Importance, pre-burial, pre-burial. Legend will be in Gospel, not present. There are only 3 possibilities for this. 1. Gospels are fake and we don't know real history of Jesus. 2. Either 2 of them should be fake. Most scholars say Gospel of John is fake. Point number 3. One has happened 2 days before in Simon's house and other one happened 6 days before in Lazarus' house. But the biggest problem here is Jesus himself. If the third point is true, then Jesus is a hypocrite and a fake Messiah who is just showing off, cause not once but Jesus wasted the perfume 2 times, which worth 2 years' wages for same purpose, and his statement, "Truly I tell you, wherever the gospel is preached throughout the world, what she has done will also be told in her memory," becomes a lie, cause Gospel of John and Gospel of Luke didn't mention the scene happened in Simon's house at all. That's why once a man said, "Do proper research before believing in things." Yours, Hindu response.